What actually makes a go-to-market strategy work? In this video, I'm going to break down the 6 pieces of what I call a jigsaw puzzle that you need to have in place in order to make sure that your go-to-market strategy actually works and becomes a success. Your go-to-market strategy needs to be communicated across the organization. Our go-to-market strategy should now become part of our identity. Your go-to-market strategy needs to be connected internally. We have just solved the 6 go-to-market puzzle pieces that's going to allow our go-to-market strategy to work in reality. What actually makes a go-to-market strategy work? If you are a revenue leader in a B2B organization, then this is definitely a question that comes into your mind at the start of the year when you're planning, but also it comes back again when you get into the planning for the year ahead. Now, it's not having a strategy that's the problem. It's making it work that's the problem. Now, being in go-to-market for a long time now, I see one core reason why go-to-market strategies fail. They tend to exist in documents and they don't actually exist inside an organization as something that they operate by. Think about it. Teams change, leaders rotate around the organization, priorities end up shifting, and then without deliberate effort, the go-to-market strategy just tends to be something that people were once excited about, but now everyone's forgotten about it. Now, before we jump in and start figuring out how we make this work, let's just get aligned on one thing. What is a go-to-market strategy? Now, a go-to-market strategy is a comprehensive plan for how we bring our products and services to market. It's not a sales plan, it's not a marketing plan, it's not a customer success plan, it's not a way that we're going to buy technology. It's something that exists cross-functionally. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down these 6 pieces of what I call a jigsaw puzzle that you need to have in place in order to make sure that your go-to-market strategy actually works and becomes a success. Any piece that gets left out is going to leave your go-to-market strategy, let me say, a little bit wobbly. Is it easy? No. But is it worth it? Absolutely. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Ajikawo, and I am the CEO and founder of Revenue Funnel. Revenue Funnel is a go-to-market consulting firm, and we work with B2B organizations, helping them to identify and fix the structural issues that often slow down growth. I personally, a little bit of a geek when it comes to B2B buyers, and in this channel, we talk about how we can understand the B2B buyer a bit more so we can offer more value, and in return, we can make more money for our companies and also ourselves. Yes, it's okay to talk about liking money. I've spent the last 17 plus years in B2B go-to-market, and I like to talk about things that are really important but rarely taught. Now let's head over to the board and let's really get into the detail around these 6 jigsaw puzzles. So the first part of actually making a B2B go-to-market strategy work is this. I should actually have my pens ready sometimes. And now I've got a pen on my hand, but we're going to roll with it. Your go-to-market strategy needs to exist. Now, people will think, well, that's obvious, Hannah. Why are you mentioning that? When we surveyed 400 B2B revenue leaders and we said, do you actually have a documented go-to-market strategy? 67% said no. And that is why it's really important that you actually have a go-to-market strategy in place. It needs to exist. Now, what size does your organization need to be in order to have a go-to-market strategy? Well, maybe I'm biased because I've worked in the industry forever, but when I launched Revenue Funnel, I had one from day one. Did it change? Absolutely. But it's really important that you understand collectively what direction you're heading in. Your go-to-market strategy needs to be documented, it needs to be intentional, and it needs to be explicit. This shouldn't be based on pure assumptions, and it shouldn't live in your head as tribal knowledge. Point 2, your go-to-market strategy, in order for it to actually work, it needs to be known. You ever write in capitals and you're like, is that how you spell it? What do we mean by known? Well, your go-to-market strategy needs to be communicated across the organization. People need to have knowledge of the go-to-market strategy. We need to increase the awareness of what we're actually talking about. What is this comprehensive plan that we've created in order to connect with our target market? Everybody needs to know about it. Your go-to-market strategy should be revisited, it needs to be reintroduced, and it needs to be repeated. Remember, people are moving in and out of your organization and also around. People's responsibilities change quarter to quarter. So you need to make sure that it is being repeated and people really know what is the plan and what are we going to do about it. Point 3, your go-to-market strategy needs to exist, it needs to be known, But most importantly, it needs to be understood. It needs to be clear. You need to remove all the jargon. Nobody wins points by making something more complicated than it needs to be. It also helps if your go-to-market strategy is visual. Try to get your go-to-market strategy documented on one page. If people do not understand your go-to-market strategy, they will not trust it. And in return, they will not trust you as the person leading the vision that they should follow in order to get to the desired outcome that you want for your organization. So make sure people understand it. Now, quick pause. The go-to-market strategy exists. Your go-to-market strategy is known, and your go-to-market strategy is now understood. What are the next 3 pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that we need to think about that's going to make sure that our go-to-market strategy actually works inside our B2B organization? All right, let's get to it. It's great having something that everybody understands, but what we really want is a go-to-market strategy that is executable. It feels like a spelling test. We need to really be honest about the skills and our internal capability to deliver on this plan. Because there's going to be some things that exist inside the organization and exist inside the plan that when you look on the surface can't really happen. So we either have a choice. We make the changes inside the organization so the plan can be executed, or we find a way to close the gaps so that we can definitely execute the plan. Now that's going to be upskilling, that could be training, that could be bringing in external things such as new technology, new partners, maybe consulting firms, because you need to figure out if we want to deliver a particular outcome through the strategy this year or in the next 2 years, 3 years, then how quickly are we able to execute that, and how much expertise is required in order to make that happen? It's really important that you are honest. You must be honest about your organization's capability of executing this plan. It's one of the things that a lot of people overlook. Oh, we need to do these 5 things, these 6 things this year, and we're going to list them out and we're going to dish out these responsibilities. But realistically, is it something that our teams can do? Do we have the internal capability right now? Are we even aware that there is an external capability that we can bring in to make sure that we can execute? Some companies are not honest with themselves, so they have a really brilliant plan about what good and great can look like in how they can begin to reach their goals, but then they actually have no way of making it happen in reality. Make sure that your go-to-market strategy is executable so it is actually based on the reality that exists in your organization. Now, what's the next point? So we want to make sure that in order for us to have this go-to-market strategy that exists, it's known, people understood, and now it's executable, how do we make sure that we land it and it continues throughout the organization as priorities shift and things change? Well, for reinforcement. Whoa, reinforce. Man, I think I need to go back and learn some English lessons. Now, how do we reinforce a go-to-market strategy? Well, we need to embed it into the organization. Our go-to-market strategy should now become part of our identity. It needs to be part of the fabric that exists inside our organization's clothing. So poetic. But this is how we embed it into behaviors. We embed it into systems, tools, processes. You embed it into the one-to-ones that you have with your teams. You embed it into the bi-weekly, the weekly cadences you have as leadership. You embed it into your dashboard. You embed it into your systems. You embed it into how you interact with prospects and clients. It needs to feel real. And in order for that to happen, it needs to be consistently reinforced when we are starting our town halls as an organization, or we're sharing a global update as an organization. We need to go back to that go-to-market strategy. One thing I see work really well is give it a name. We're working with a client right now and we call it Project Traction. Everybody knows what that means. When you hear that, it's got all these additional connotations, all these additional meanings, and people know that is the thing that we are using. That is the anchor that everything around the organization is tied to. So make sure that you've got those reinforcement mechanisms inside the organization that make your go-to-market strategy actually work. Another thing to add to the reinforcement piece actually is providing guardrails. You know, in a bowling alley, when you have those barriers that you can put up on both sides, that forces the ball to only stay within a particular frame so that you don't kind of go off the rails. The guardrails are there to act in the same way. You need to understand, like, what are the things that we're operating in with, you know, what's the budget, what's the resources that we have, what's the access that we have, like what are those guardrails, if you're going specific, it's the ICPs, it's the personas. We need to make those very clear to each organizational unit that's involved in executing this go-to-market strategy. Otherwise, people are going to go rogue and do whatever they want. Make sure the time constraints are clear, make sure the KPIs are clear, make sure all of these pieces are in place in order to make sure that your go-to-market strategy actually lands. Now, the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle involved in understanding how do we make a B2B go-to-market strategy actually work, it's ensuring that it is connected. Your go-to-market strategy needs to be connected. What we mean by that is internally across the organization. Are we building product features and enhancements that are directly have a dotted line to the things and activities that we are pushing out to the market? We need to ensure that we have direct alignment across sales, marketing, customer success, operations. Everything needs to be connected in order to make sure that the go-to-market strategy actually works in principle. Then we need to make sure that the go-to-market strategy is connected to the external world and the market reality. Is what we're doing making sense based on what we understand about the external context, the macroeconomic landscape? Are we going to go to market with a message, with positioning, with solutions and services that actually marry up to the reality that our ideal prospects and customers are experiencing today? If we can't answer that confidently, we need to go back to the drawing board and get research done. Now, when I'm talking about research, let's think about the data. What is the data telling us? Because our go-to-market strategy must be connected to that. Data should inform the go-to-market strategy. It shouldn't run the go-to-market strategy, because guess what? We can interpret and look at data in various different ways. We also never have the full story. So if we take data as the only thing that is the gospel, then we might actually miss out on key pieces to actually making our go-to-market strategy work. So the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle is making sure that our go-to-market strategy is connected. That is what makes the B2B go-to-market strategy work. So let's tie this all together. When we stand there and we sit there and we're thinking and we're up all night and we're like, how am I going to make this go-to-market strategy actually work? Last year we tried everything, but we really need to make it work this year. Then I've got you. So let's go through this really quickly and do a quick summary. First things first, does a go-to-market strategy actually exist? What is a go-to-market strategy? Well, a go-to-market strategy is a comprehensive plan for how we're going to bring our products and services to market. Does that exist? Is it documented anywhere? Is it somewhere that is actually accessible by the organization? If so, great. Tick. Next thing, I've documented this go-to-market strategy, but is it known? Have I created a communication plan? Have I increased awareness? Have we done this big launch to get everybody excited? Have we embedded it emotionally inside the organization? So not only do people know it from a logical level, but they're emotionally attached. They have a vested interest in the go-to-market strategy. That all done? Yes? Tick. Now, we've done all of these pieces, but is it really understood? Do people understand this and understand the role that they play in the go-to-market strategy? If so, brilliant. You've ticked that part as well. Now that we've got all of this foundational pieces in place, is it executable? People know the role they play, but do we have clear understanding of our capability gaps? What are we able to do? And what can we just not invest in today as a capability to make this work? And if we are agreeing up front that there are things that we really need to do, but we currently can't do, have we weighed up a contingency plan for maybe catering into the fact that we may miss target or miss the goal a little bit? Yes? Then great. You're one step closer. Now, things are going to change. The market changes. A president somewhere around the world says something. The market shifts. Things happen outside of our control. Are we putting in place something that helps to reinforce this as priorities and teams shift? Is everything inside our head and tribal knowledge, or is it easily accessible? Are we reinforcing it in the day-to-day? Have we made it clear to our leaders how they reinforce this in the day-to-day? All of these things done? Brilliant. We're one step closer. More importantly, have we built this go-to-market strategy siloed by design? Marketing, sales, customer success, ops, product, etc. Or are we bringing everyone together under one go-to-market roof so everyone has a clear understanding of what the B2B go-to-market strategy is and actually how we're going to make it work? And they all have aligned goals, targets, initiatives, cadences, reporting. Do we have a global view of our go-to-market strategy? More importantly, how aligned is it to the reality that is existing for our customers and our prospects out in the market? Are we connected properly to the things that matter to them? Because if we are not, no matter how great the other things are, then nothing's going to come together. If we are, brilliant. We have just solved the 6 go-to-market puzzle pieces that's going to allow our go-to-market strategy to work in reality. Okay, we covered a lot there, and I understand that B2B go-to-market strategy for a lot of organizations can feel a bit heavy and complicated. So if you're still here and you have an extra minute, let me just tell you a little bit more about Revenue Funnel and what we do. As I mentioned before, Revenue Funnel is a go-to-market consulting firm, and we help B2B organizations like you to really identify and solve the structural issues that block growth, and it's often inside the go-to-market. Now we come in and we work with you, we give you a plan within 4 weeks, we help you execute the core of the plan inside 3 months, and then we help you to iterate and improve on that plan that's been executed over the next 3 to 6 months. Inside 1 year, you will have everything refined, rebuilt, and get yourself back on the pathway to growth. But you're going to get the clarity that you need, that you've been seeking, inside only a few weeks. Now, if that's something that sounds interesting, you can message me, you can DM me, you can ping me. All of my details are everywhere. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.